Hello everyone, this is Jack Boyles with Steam Engines USA, and today I've got a package that I've been wanting to acquire for almost 4 years. So we're going to open this up and take a look at it. Alright, so this is my first look and your first look. It's like Christmas, it is almost that time of year. So, wow, look at that. Peanuts, we got a bunch of peanuts. So here's what I'm after, and I'm not sure what that is. I do see this right here, and look at that, Jensen steam engine. So we're going to open this up and take a look at this. Actually, let me go ahead and get it out. So it's got original smokestack and it's black, so that should give you a little bit more of a clue. And I'm going to lift this out and then come right back. Alright, so here's the steam engine, and I just want you to look at this pack job. They had it wrapped with paper, peanuts. Just excellent job packing this. Alright, so here's what we got. I am going to pause it and take the bubble wrap off of the engine and unpackage these items and set them out. So I just wanted to pause and look at this pack job. I'm telling you, they did a fantastic job packing this thing. Just unreal. Look at that, around the lamp post. Just a tremendous job. Oh yeah, look at that. Some of you right now know exactly what this is. And this here is an engine that I have been trying to acquire for 4 years. It is a very early Jensen. Yeah, let's see if I can get that out very carefully. Let me switch hands. Look at that. Lamp post on the board. Very early number 10 with the big 20 cylinder. Screws through the base. Original. So I'm going to remove all my packaging and we'll come back for a closer look. Alright, so here we are. This is a Jensen number 10, 1936 or 1937 version. And the just interesting thing about this steam engine is how I came upon acquiring it. So I'll try to do this briefly and really quick. So this engine right here has all this documentation. It was actually restored by Jensen Manufacturing Company back in 2000. And a gentleman that owned it was Craig Miller. And there's just emails for 2 years. This engine was in the hands of John Foskett, who worked for Jensen back then. And they went through and made some repairs. So long story short, in all of these emails, this engine traveled from Jeanette, Pennsylvania to Florida to Jeanette, Pennsylvania, best I can tell, and then was repaired for $105. And on the back it details all the things that was done by Jensen, and then ultimately it was shipped back. It has a little, still has a little fuel. That would be new. He wouldn't have got that little funnel in 1936, but and this would have come with it once it had to restore. It's got a little drain, little plastic drain valve that was on the end of the steam chest here, so I took that off. But this engine is one that I've been looking for 4 years. I've always wanted a number 10 Jensen that has the lamp post on its base. This engine was at an auction in California, and I saw it online, and myself and a gentleman named Rich. I won't share his name unless he wants me to, and he can comment in the section below. But Rich ended up being a high bidder on it, and most of the Jensen collectors out there saw this engine go, and so I missed it by basically one bid. He ended up outbidding me on it, and later it was posted on Gil Garcelle's Office of Steam forum, and so I commented on there and I said, hey, you know, whoever won it, if you decide for whatever reason you want to sell it, let me know, because I was the second high bidder on it. Well, Rich reached out to me, and he contacted me, and he'd actually been looking for one of these for quite some time too. However, as soon as he bid on it, he discovered he had some medical issues, and I won't go into that, but he needed, or didn't really need it, but he decided that he was going to part with it, and allowed me to purchase it from him for what he paid for. So, Rich, sir, this engine is a beauty. It's magnificent. It is exactly what I've been looking for 4 years. And I am so, you know, dismayed, and I guess I would say sympathetic and empathetic to the fact that you wanted to part with it, and I understand why. However, thank you for offering it to me. So this video in part is for Rich, so that he can see what this engine is and how it arrived. I am going to take this smokestack base off to see what type of heating element. It should be, there's no screws in the side and the bottom, so it should be a tube type cylinder. So we're going to take that off, and I'll come back and we'll look at it. Alright, so I removed these screws, and they're actually shorter than the normal screw that I've seen on these Jensens. And actually some of these would be pins, but I know since it was worked on, they would have replaced that. So let me see here. Let's take a look at this. Whoopsie. If I can get it. Trying to do this with one hand is a little difficult. So right there, not quite, little 1/2 inch screws. All right, so let's take a look. Oh, look at that. Very nice. So this is the first time I've seen one of these heaters like this. It typically would be a tube type heater. However, this one is different. Let's see. Oh, look at that. It's cracked right there. So it's heated up. So I'm going to set this down so I can be gentle, and I'll come right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So it is a ceramic tube heater. And I haven't seen one of these before, but it looks, there's a couple cracks. The heating element actually goes through the ceramic heater, and inside of here, that looks really good. Let's see if I can shine a light up in there. Yep. So it looks really good. A lot of times those will be burnt out where the heating element has burnt up. So I'm going to gently slide this back in, and then we'll come back. Alright, so the interesting thing is it's just slid right in. On some of the other Jensens, they've actually screwed in. So this is just tremendous. Alright, so I am going to put the cover back on. So I'm going to put those screws in, and then we'll come back and take a little bit closer look. Alright, so we've got this back in place, and then we will top it with this little brass smokestack. So the plug looks really good. This wouldn't, I can't say if that would have been original or not. I think this is replaced. So the engine, everything spins freely. This engine style has got the cloth wrapped wire. I read through some of the documentation on here, and when it was returned, this was in 2000, they had everything running perfectly. So it doesn't even look like it has been run since then. Still a little dusty. I need to take some dust off of it. But it's the one that has 2 commentators. And smooth. Needs to be, I don't think it's been lubed up at all. But put a little bit of lube on it and it'll be ready to go. The control rods here, push rods, those are rounded, and if you know, this is the earlier style. The later Jensens, these would be squared off. And look how thick the eccentrics are. So those are the things that you'll notice about early 1930s. And this one, pretty much 1936, 37 is going to be the date. I mean, it's possible it could be a little bit earlier, but that's where we're at. I've not done anything to this. I've basically, as you can see, taken it out of the box, so it does need to be polished up. The paint is in really good condition. You know, most of the time these engines rusted and have the paint's really bad. Things are chipping. The only thing I see at all is this flywheel, and it looks like something must have hit this flywheel. It's a little spot on it, but this right here will actually polish up too. It's got the black handles, which date it earlier. This dome top on the steam line, that dates it earlier. It's got the real fat pop-up valve, and it looks perfect. Normally these are corroded up, so that thing looks beautiful. It is a riveted boiler, as you can tell, and I believe here we got 5-inch boiler, I believe is what this is. Should be. So yeah. So 5-inch boiler. Two and a half inch, 5-inch boiler. Or is that 2 3/4? Let's see. Yep, 2.5-inch boiler. The heat shield underneath there looks really good. The cord's in great shape, which I think this cord was may have been updated. It may not. It might be the original cord, but it looks like the end cap there was, the plug may have been updated. So all in all, just a beautiful, beautiful steam engine. This is probably one of my most favorite steam engines. And I don't know here, it looks like a little bit of paint or something dropped on this, and I'll probably be able to polish that right off. But for right now, I'm not going to do anything to this engine. I'm just going to leave it like it is. Wipe it down, clean it up, and display it. And then maybe later on I'll come back and run it. But for right now, I've waited 4 years to get one of these. So I'm not going to do anything to it. It does have the painted on decal. This is the very earliest decal Tom Jensen Sr. painted these on. And I'm going to go through all this documentation. There's just probably an hour's worth of reading here. Emails and pages of correspondence between Jensen and Mr. Miller. And like I said, this engine, what I briefly read is they had the engine for about 2 years, and then they finally got everything finished on it. And this is the checklist: engine repair and restoration service department. So just pretty awesome. And tested by John Foskett, and that was 7/15, shipped out on 7/18, and that would have been 2001. Looks like 2001. And best I can tell, they got it back in early 2000. So anyway, great auction find again, Rich. Thank you, sir. Just a beautiful engine here, and I hope you feel better. I hope things go well for you, sir, and I'll send you some pictures as well. So from High Point, North Carolina, thanks for watching this 1936-37 riveted boiler Jensen number 10 with the lamp post on the board, painted decal. They don't get nicer than this. Have a great day.